Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl Simply D, and we are back for another podcast, episode 4 of Simply D, the podcast. And today I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. I know last week that was a little deep. Homegirl was talking all the business, all of it. But I think this one is going to be a tear jerker for some, or it may just be me. But what I want to talk today about is grief. Okay? We go through a lot, losing people, mourning people, and we don't really talk about it. We don't talk about it. And for me, as I've been telling y'all about, me overcoming my alcohol addiction and daily living through it, I never really talked about, how it got so bad. Like, I could have just socially drank at a point in time and be okay, but my drinking took a turn for the worst. And I mean in the worst way possible, when my grandmother passed away in 2017. So let's go back. In 2017, I had just wrapped working FIFA, beach soccer event, Commonwealth Youth Games, and the LOC at the time, the local organizing committee, had just switched over government. So we went from PLP to FNM. If you're in the Bahamas, then you know these are our political governments. And so I lost my job. Like, immediately when the FNM rolled in, they were like, shut down. And like, we lost our job, like, effective immediately. And that was a shocker, like a kicker, like a, I don't know what. And I remember at the time, I had just moved out west, Sandy Port, to be precise. And rent wasn't cheap, honey. Rent wasn't cheap. And I was just like, what am I supposed to do? Like, how am I supposed to figure things out? And I would talk to my Grammy for support. Like, that was my solace. Like, at work, I tell you, no lie, no joke, I used to talk to my Grammy at least once to twice a day, every day. And we would be on the phone for hours, telling me the same story over and over and over and over again. And you know what? I would sit there and listen to it over and over and over and over again. And out of everything that was going on, like, hearing her voice and just knowing, like, I had her, just made me feel at peace. Like, let me know, like, everything would be okay. Like, things would be okay. And so after like a few months, and like I said, I think CYG was the last thing we did. We were called in from another committee to help out with CYG. And after CYG, I was just like, ain't nothing percolating here. So I can go back to the States. And so when I went back to the States, I got one of my old campaign jobs back, which was working for, and y'all don't kill me, but I was working for Mary Norwood for mayor campaign. She was going against Keisha Lance Bottoms at the time. So I got my job back there, which was able for me to, make money and kind of catch myself, because Nassau had stressed me out. I was just trying to figure it out. I packed up, had to end up selling my Jeep, packed up all of my stuff, and moved back to Atlanta. This was August 3rd, 2017. August, I would say 20th, 19th, 20th is when I got a message in the family group chat that my Grammy was ill. And there was this mass on her stomach that we couldn't figure out what was going on with her. And oh boy. And she went to the PMH. Y'all know PMH. Checked in. She needed a blood transfusion. I did what I could do. At that time, I was a part of the Blood Bank Association with my uncle. So I reached out to him and asked him, like, let's get some blood over to my Grammy as soon as possible. And did that, but PMH did their own thing and taking their own time with getting her the blood. And then finally, she was stable for a bit. And I think she was stable for a bit. When did I talk to her? I talked to her that Friday. That Friday, which would have been my birthday, my 30th birthday at that. And I talked to her, and she would tell me to stay into the presence of the Lord, give up the things that I love, God hates, and that she's fighting this, and she will get out the hospital and she will be better, and you know, she'll get through it. And on August 27th, about 5 in the morning, my grandmother transitioned to heaven. And for me, that crushed me. My world ended. My world stopped. Everything about life, what I knew existed, ended. And I felt betrayed by God, lost. I was extremely angry at PMH, the doctors, especially her private doctor, because he had been treating her for an ear infection for over a year. And come to find out, her cancer had returned, and it returned aggressively. And he had no detection of that. So I had a lot of emotions going on. And worse, I had just started my campaign job in Atlanta, which means I have to come back to Nassau. I just left, but I had to come home. And my grandmother in the States, RIP, who just passed away literally a month ago, she was like, you don't have to go home. Like, your Grammy would understand or whatever, what's not. And I was just like, what? What? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I hopped on a plane and I came home to Nassau, and we buried my grandmother, and I went back to the States to continue my job. But when I went back, I didn't go back. I cannot tell you who returned to the States, but I know Deandra didn't. I got to a point where I was drinking every single day. I was smoking every single day. I was so numb to a lot of things. I had long hair. I cut all my hair off. Like, I just didn't feel. And I was looking for support, but the support couldn't support me. And after my campaign candidate lost, I returned to Nassau. And really, I only was supposed to return to Nassau just for the holidays. And during the holidays, I partied with one of my uncles, who will remain nameless at this time. And I got like shit faced it, like plastered, like really bad. And he was just like, "What's up? Like, what's going on?" And I told him like how I felt, and he was just like, it happened, and how mom would feel about you, etc., etc. Um, but then in the same breath, hand me a bottle of something, and I would continue to drown my sorrows in alcohol. And that process really went on for a while. And my aunt came back from the States because she went away. That's how I ended up coming to Nassau, because she wanted me to house sit. And when she came back, she saw what state I was in. And she asked me as well. And one night I poured out to her, and I was just like, I'm grieving. I'm hurting. I don't know what to do. I miss her so much. How do I fix this? How do I go on? How do I cope? How do I heal? How do I move forward? How long does this take? Like, help me. And she looked me in my eyes, and she was very honest with me, and she said, "Dee, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I've never been good with emotions. I don't know." And I cried. I cried and I cried and I cried. I screamed, I yelled at God, and I was just like, why would you leave me here with these people? Why would you leave me here with these people who don't know how to love, who don't know how to show emotions, who don't know how to care? And me looking for acceptance, me looking for validation, me looking for hugs, me looking for so much, led me to all the wrong things. And I ended up drinking double of what I was consuming before, and just being like out my mind, and not having a purpose, or wanting to have a purpose, not wanting to practically live. And it got really, really bad to the point whereas I would not do anything in the day. I'll just lay on the couch all day, and at night be the first person to go to the bar, standing on the wall waiting for a drink. Like, this is real. This is real. 20 At this time, it's now 2018, top of 2018, that I am just like out of control. And at that point, my aunt asked me to leave because, you your alcohol is, at this point, you're not stopping. And that's not something she would want to represent. That's not something that my Grammy would have condoned, which I kind of understood, but in a sense I kind of didn't. um and I reflect on this a lot, because it's like, yes, you didn't know any better, and I understand that you didn't know any better, but at the same token, how come you didn't seek help for me? If you could not provide it, why couldn't you seek help for me? And I grieved a long battle. For a very, very long time, I grieved, and I acted out, and I knocked and bucked in so many different places. Homeless. I was homeless for a while. Y'all don't understand. Y'all really don't understand. I was homeless for a while. And then I ended up on people couches, just trying to find my way and find my way and find my way. Eventually, I made it back to my mom's house. And then from my mom's house, I made it to a friend's house. And now we're roommates. But you got to understand that for about 7 or 8 years, I lost it. I lost it. And I was searching and begging to find my way, begging for someone to see me, begging for peace of mind, begging, just begging to be loved, to be accepted, and just be told that it will be okay. Just hold my hand and I'll show you. Y'all don't know. Grief can do some things. And I would talk to my Grammy, but I knew she wasn't coming back. And year after year, when it would get close to her birthday or it would get close to my birthday, I would dread it. I would never want to celebrate. I would just get completely drunk and just be out my mind, like boohoo crying or passed out. Until I started to, I would say last year, in 2025, when I decided to say, no, I have to find a different way. I have to find a better way. There has to be more to life. That I have to fight for me. Would she want this for me? No. And I had to surround myself around people who actually wanted to see me, wanted to help me, and wanted me to grow and thrive. Like I said in my last part, I owe a lot to my friend because that's the person who she met, a wreck. But I held it together long enough to get a job done. And sometimes that wasn't even held up properly because the alcohol would spew out of my pores. So, when people talk about grief, grief can take you through some things. And grief is not something that you get over as time progresses. You don't. I still struggle day to day, week to week, but I've learned now how to process differently. When I know I'm not good, I say I'm not good. When I know it's a rough day, it's a rough day. I take time, I take space, I isolate. And then when I know like my isolation can become a problem, I reach out and I say to somebody, hey, I need you to check on me. I'm not doing too good. And so, I don't know. I felt like I needed to tell this story because a lot of us are going through things, deeply rooted things. It may not be grief of a physical person, but we're grieving who we used to be. We're grieving joy and happiness. We're grieving in marriages. We're grieving in life. We want someone to step in and be like, hey, it's okay. You can do it. I believe in you. We just want someone to just see us. And so today I just want to let you know that I see you. I feel you. And I understand. Life doesn't always deal us a great hand. But if we know how to play our cards right, we could come out okay. Trust God. Trust God. Through it all, the beginning, the middle, and the end. As people look at me now, and I know for a lot of you listening to the story, you would never believe it was me because that's not who you see now. But God has been there and God has seen. So when I tell people I've been there, I've been there. Gone through it, I've gone through it. But somehow, some way, God would not allow me to look like what I've been through. And today, I'm standing in the gap and I'm praying for you that you don't have to look like what you've been through. And trust and believe that someone is standing here with you just to say, I'm proud of you. So I love you all. I hope that my story helps someone today. And I'll see you next episode. Take care.